He's defeated every champion from every organization the sport of mixed martial arts has ever seen, and retired from the octagon as the biggest draw and the industry's highest paid athlete of all time. And now Chael Sonnen's on podcast1.com. And for that, you're welcome.
What's happening, guys? Happy Wednesday. Let's get right into it. I had a very interesting weekend. So I shoot out to San Jose. I'm going to be part of the broadcast team. Work with Sean and Jimmy and get a call to fights. Mitrione versus Fedor. So and in San Jose. San Jose is an incredible fight town. San Jose is Bellator's as Las Vegas is to the UFC, San Jose is to Bellator. That is the head, that is the helm. That's where the offices are, and that town absolutely supports it. Plus, you've got this huge main event. You got Fedor coming back, underdog. He's going to be taking on Mitrione. You've got all this excitement. I get out there, and Joel and I are going to go over to a Dave & Buster's to do a live podcast. And so right when I land, I go into the lobby, and I am informed that Mitrione may not be fighting. And this is private information. But I'm filled in on this. So I go right to Scott Coker right then, and I say, I am licensed, I am here, and I'm ready. Put me in. So a little dialogue begins there, and I go over to the Dave & Buster's, and Joel calls me out. He says, hey, you're in a weird mood, man. What's going on? I say, yeah, I got the house on fire. I'm sitting on a secret here, and here's what it is. It needs to stay between us, but I think I'm fighting Fedor tomorrow night. And here I am at this Dave & Buster's. I got to get out of here. I got to get home. I got to get to bed. I got to get on the phone with Clayton and Fabian. I mean, I got some stuff I got to do, but I'm filling my obligation here at Dave & Buster's. Somewhere between us finishing that up and getting back, I get a text from the bosses at Bellator. Hey, you need to get over to the Fairmont Hotel right now. We got a meeting. I think I'm walking into that meeting and signing a contract to fight Fedor.
We all did. So on the way back from Dave & Buster's, we're in the van. It's Reese, Jake, Ryan, and Chael. Chael mentions, hey, I'm fighting Fedor tomorrow. We're going to the Fairmont Hotel because that's what you believe in your head. Why else are you going to go to the Fairmont Hotel at 11 o'clock at night unless you're there to make a fight? You mentioned, all right, man, if I get this fight, the only thing I'm going to ask for is that my boys Ryan and Jake get a Bellator contract. You're not going to ask for anything else, of which point Ryan says...
Oh, Ryan informs us that I'm under exclusive contract with King of the Cage for the next 12 months.
And I immediately say somebody literally kick him out of the van.
Just open the van door and throw him out.
And I meant it, and I love the guy. So anyway, we get there at 11 o'clock at night, and you just say, see you later. Like your boys are going to...
I thought you guys were dropping me off.
Yeah, you tell us, hey, you guys are going to corner us, and I'm going to fight Fedor if this goes through. And so we go into the lobby and wait. Now, one of the things that has come out of this thing is Tito said that he offered to fight, which is really weird to me because at 11 o'clock tonight, the only person in that room was you.
Yeah, I could take it or leave it. I don't know what he was after. Tito was nowhere near the deal. Tito did not offer to fight. He was not on the table. The next day, a press release came out announcing that, hey, Mitrione has fallen ill to these kidney stones and that match won't happen. At which point, Tito put out a tweet that he would fight. He was nowhere near the deal. I was trying to get the fight, and Bellator wanted Ollie Thompson to take the fight. And the only problem with Ollie, as I saw it, the only problem with Ollie Thompson is he had a fight with Chet Congo. So
is Ollie Thompson related to Ole Thompson?
You know what? Funny you should say that. I called him Ole Thompson because that's how his name is spelled, O-L-Y, Thompson, all night on the mic, and Fish jumped in my ear, in my IFB, and said, it's pronounced Ollie.
I'm an idiot.
Well, we both are. It's spelled O-L-Y. What do you want to do? Okay, Ollie Thompson. And as I saw it, hey, listen, he's supposed to fight Chet Congo. Chet Congo's a big draw. Chet Congo's a star. So you're sacrificing one player for the other. Put me in. And I made it very clear, this is not a cash grab. I am licensed. I am here. I am ready to go. You have a deal with Mitrione. Honor Mitrione's deal. I'm out. I'm going to walk out there and do the fight, make good on Mitrione's contract. I don't get anything. I'm out. But I want the fight. So things are going good. You know, Fedor's people are there, and Jerry Milan, all the bosses are there, and I think this is going to happen. Now, I do have one thing that's in my way, which is the weigh-ins have closed. So is it even possible through the rules of the commission to fight? Made calls to the commission? Yes. The executive director can go outside of that in cases like this, and he was willing to. So I went to bed that night thinking I was fighting Fedor, but I could not say anything because it was still Mitrione's fight. And Mitrione, contrary to what some people interpret or believe, Mitrione never pulled out of this fight. Some people even said he was scared and backed out. It's like, whoa, it was actually just the opposite. Mitrione is as tough as an old leather boot. He never, to this day, he never took himself out of that fight. Coker finally got over to the hospital or the hotel, wherever Mitrione was, took a look at him and goes, you're done. I'm not putting you in there. I'm making this call. Coker, looking out for his guy, protected his guy at the sake of his own card. I think Coker deserves a lot of credit and respect for that. And then Coker went into full action, putting on the best show that he could with the cards he was now dealt. I mean, the rug got pulled out from underneath him less than 24 hours before bell time. And he pulled it off, man. He worked all night long. When I left that meeting, Coker had his power team around him. He had his computer open. He had a phone in each hand. He was working. He was piecing things together. I have no idea what time he went to bed that night or even if he did. But he kept his focus. He stayed calm like a true leader does. I've seen promoters, Joel, and so have you, that have lost their main event even weeks before the show and closed up shop and never opened the doors again. They went out of business. Coker had less than 24 hours. I mean, when I left him, it was 12:10 in the morning. Doors opened at 4 p.m. Main card goes live at 6 p.m. So he had, I mean, what's the math on that? He had 16 hours. He's not even 24 hours. He's got 16 hours. And he dealt with it. And he packed the house, and he still did great ratings. Now, absolutely fantastic leadership job by Scott Coker.
Now, one of the things that happened on the way in the van to what we believe is the greatest night of our lives, that we're all going to take part in this historic event. You're going to fight Fedor the next day. A 1996 Honda Civic ran by us and started flashing on the lights, and it scared Reese to death. What was that all about?
I have no idea, man. The guy must have thought it was a soccer mom because he sees the minivan that you had rented. I don't know what Reese did to piss him off, but the guy wasn't just flashing. He was honking. I don't remember hitting the brakes. I don't remember doing anything, cutting the guy off, changing lanes. We were just sitting in our lane. I don't know what made that guy mad. All I know is Reese panicked, swerved over 3 lanes and slowed to 45 miles an hour. The guy pulls away at 80. And I can't even see the guy's taillights anymore. We're still in the slow lane going 45. He was so scared.
Why was he? I mean, he had to know that he was protected in that van.
Man, I can't think there was a safer place to be in all of California than in that van at that time. I don't even know why you brought that up, but
it was funny. Now, another thing,
it is funny.
As disappointing as it was that you weren't going to fight Fedor, and I don't know, but I do know that your pregame meal at midnight on the streets of San Jose would have been 4 fully loaded bacon wrap dogs. That would have been a great test to see if that would be a good pregame meal.
Those were so incredibly delicious. And, you know, I'm used to cutting weight for weigh-ins. And after the weigh-ins, I then pig out until the next day. The day of a fight, I don't eat anything. And so I actually felt we were on track. Even though those were some dirty, filthy, greasy hot dogs, I felt like we were on track to fight the next day. I went to bed that night thinking I was fighting, but I couldn't say anything. That was part of the deal because, you know, it's still Mitrione's fight. Mitrione hasn't pulled out. Mitrione never pulled. I know I already said that, but Mitrione deserves it. He never pulled out. Coker finally got over to see him and just goes, I'm not putting you in the ring. I don't care what it means business wise. I'll deal with that. I'm the businessman, but you're my guy, and I'm not putting you in this situation. Really cool move. Really cool move by Coker, which again, you know, whenever promoters do something well, they get no credit. Promoters are just known as the scum of the earth from the boxing days. But the reality is, not in MMA. We've got some good stand-up guys in there. At any rate, I can't tell Brittany, I had to tell you guys because you're going to be my cornerman. You're the only boots on the ground, right? I get 4 guys. Well, it turns out I got 4 guys. Clayton can't get there by then. Fabiano can't get there, but nope, it's you guys. So, at any rate, I can't tell anybody. I can't tell my mom, nobody. And I go to bed, and I woke up thinking I was fighting Fedor, and I woke up to Spike TV saying, hey, why aren't you down here at the arena? We're doing a rehearsal. And it's like, well, I don't know who knows. I've got some inside information here. Can I reveal to them? I think I'm on to, I don't know. So the house was on fire right up until the end. And, essentially what it came down to, in my opinion, was just Fedor knew how the contract worked. And the way the contracts worked, and most guys don't know this, once you weigh in, you get paid. So Fedor had already weighed in. He did everything contractually he had to do. He's getting his check. He's going to be on a plane to Moscow first thing in the morning. Why would he fight anybody? And he even said that. He said, Chael Sonnen is not what I trained for. He is southpaw. I will fight Matt Mitrione. And Coker's kind of like, yeah, Fedor, that's what this whole meeting's about. You're not fighting Mitrione, but we've got a show to do. Can you help me out? Do you want to fight? I will fight Matt Mitrione. Okay, Fedor, you're not fighting. Mitrione's out. I think I will fight with Matt Mitrione. Okay. Not going to happen.
Good job, Fedor. You're a bum.
Yeah, well, I thought it was a little bit weird, but I mean, that is what happened. He was a KG veteran. He saw the side of it, and what can I say about it?
Well, I mean, we're old school. We one of the things that I noticed through the generation gap of spending, the better part of what was 24 hours and felt like 15 years in that van was it's different. Where you come from in the UFC, that fight would have been made somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you, though, as far as going to your next best option and pulling it off, it was unbelievable. There was not a ticket holder in that venue that was disappointed. They had a great time. They had Josh Koscheck on the card. They got to finish off with Josh Thompson. Even in a loss, that was their boy. They were happy. They were thrilled. They grabbed a T-shirt on the way out. It was really, really well done. It really was. And you know what? Czech Congo looked great. Czech Congo had to fight his former teammate, Ollie Thompson. Czech Congo turns to ground and pound, which I didn't even know was in his arsenal. Found out it worked and just took him down with a double leg, trapped him in that fence, and did it round after round after round. I thought the Czech had a great performance.
Great night of Bellator. I had my hair up for Fedor versus Mitrione. Some people wanted me to shave my head because Mitrione didn't fight. I knew it was nothing that Mitrione could do. So I put it on the line for Lewis Brown. And I can tell you how bad I did not want to shave my head is when they were fighting, I was scared. And thank God for that beast, Derek Lewis.
Names are hard.
Words are hard. Derek Lewis takes out
Speaking's hard.
Brown in brutal fashion, then jumps up on the mic, cuts a promo like a cage fighter should, still buries Brown, says, hey, I didn't like this guy. He put hands on women. And then he calls out, he says, where Ronda Rousey fine ass at?
Now, why is that such a great line? A lot of people love that. Why is that so great?
You just beat up her man. That means to the conquer goes the spoils. You just beat. That was the greatest line of all time.
In fairness, though, isn't it owed to Travis Brown that there was a full investigation and he was completely cleared? I mean, calling a guy a woman beater is a pretty tough thing, particularly when the investigation says he didn't do it. In fairness, and you don't need to weigh in on that, but in fairness, that's relevant. We need to throw that out there.
Hi, I'm Larry McReynolds, host of the new podcast, Larry Mac, America's Crew Chief on Podcast One. As a two-time Daytona 500 winning crew chief and current analyst for Fox Sports and FS1, I'll be bringing you a unique perspective on everything NASCAR, from how a race plays out, strategy on pit road, technical issues, and anything in between. Download new episodes now on podcastone.com or subscribe at iTunes.
You're welcome. You're welcome with Chael Sonnen.
So, listen, we got a live show at the Stratosphere this Sunday, the 26th. Doors open at 9:30. We're going to hit the stage at 10 o'clock. We're teaming up with Richard, with Frank Mir, guys from Phone Booth Fighting. They got a podcast. We're going to go out there and tell some stories. It's going to be interactive. We're going to talk with the audience. Whether this is going to be funny or interesting or what direction it goes, who knows? But that is going down this Sunday at the Stratosphere in Las Vegas. Tickets on sale now. The show is called Suspended. Make sure you're there. But, I know why I brought that up. I didn't bring it up just to plug the show. I brought it up because Richard really wanted to shave your head on stage, but it looks like you protected your hair.
Thank God.
Hey, tell me this. Tell me this on the fights. I missed them. I read all about the Brown. I read a little bit about Johnny Hendricks and Hector Lombard. I know the outcome, but how did that go? Did you get to watch the contest?
I did. I watched the Johnny Hendricks Hector Lombard fight. It was fantastic. Johnny looked great. He had a full head of steam all throughout the fight. It was, I'm a Johnny guy. I've had his back through his losing streak. I've been rooting for him. And he was just, the relief. The relief you have after a fight's one thing. The relief you have after a victory is another one. He won the fight. He looked great. He was happy to be at 185 pounds, and he was a plus 118, and I won money on it.
You had Hendricks the whole time?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what I thought. Hendricks is really, really good. Even though he's been on a bit of a skid and he had the weight issues, he's a big problem for anybody. And what I want when Hector goes out and fights, I just want Hector to perform. I've always been on the Hector bandwagon, even early on when people were mad at him and he'd won all those fights in Bellator and came to the UFC in a big contract and people were jealous about it. I've always been on board. That's a lifelong competitor. That's an Olympian in judo for Cuba. That's a tough guy, but I do feel sometimes he empties his gas tank so early, goes on a sprint. But when he does take into consideration, hey, this is a marathon and I could be out here the whole time, when he fights with that in mind, he fights really, really well. And
he did. That was his pace. He fought a good controlled pace. He didn't run out of steam. He had a great performance. I think one of the things that happened with Hector is he fell into the trap a lot of them do, is he got beat at 185 and he thought the solution was to go to 170. So then look how big he is at 185. So somehow he makes 170 a couple times, or maybe 3 times, decides this is too much weight. Now I'm going back to 185. If he didn't lose something in that weight cut, you're crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, the one thing that he has is he has height issues. He's a shorter guy. What's he stand about? 5'9" to 5'10", 5'9", 5'9 and a half. He could be as low as 5'8 and a half. He's just not a very tall guy, and height matters a little bit more than weight in fighting. So I liked him at 170 for those reasons, but I hear everything you're saying. And at 185, that's when he went on his run through Bellator, beat 22 guys straight. Might have been 23 guys straight. I want him to stay there. And I really don't even know what his record is. He is one of those guys that he goes out and he delivers, and sometimes it does not go his way. Sometimes in spectacular fashion it goes against him, but he brings it. He comes out and he gets it on. And I'm always tuning in for Hector.
One of our favorite gals, Sarah McMahon, had a great performance, and now she's on a bit of a roll. And she's starting to say, hey, I want a title shot. And what's so great about that is she had a rough time when she got in. We just thought Sarah McMahon, she's an Olympian, she's gonna run through this division, and she got bumped up quite a few times. So it's good to see her on a bit of a tear.
Who'd she fight?
She fought Gina Mazzani.
Okay, and Sarah won. Good for Sarah. If there's ever been a career that was mismanaged, it was Sarah McMahon's. The things I would have done differently with her if I was steering the ship. And I did think she was probably going to get lost to the shuffle, and I still do. I don't think she's going to get back there. She does a lot of things wrong where I don't feel she studies the sport. But as far as the talent goes, hey, man, how much I've been on the Sarah McMahon bandwagon from Jump Street, from the very beginning. I thought she was going to be the one that was going to beat Ronda. So I'm happy to hear that she won. I didn't get to see any of these fights. Thanks for filling me in. Hey, guys, here's what you do. Go to betdsi.com right now. You're probably on a smartphone listening to this podcast. Go into your search engine, download their mobile app, BetDSI. Guys, they've been around for over 20 years. They have great mobile product. It's easy to use from anywhere. Live in-game wagering. Do you guys even know what that means? That means when the game is going on, you can still go there and bet who you think's going to win. It could be a blowout. All you have to do is click the button, and they are going to hand you your money. They have incredible customer service 24/7, 365. They have built a reputation on fast payments of winning. Right now, get a 200% bonus. Go to betdsi.com. Whatever money you want to put up, use the promo code Chael200, and they will give you a 200% bonus. I'm going to throw a number at you. $500. If you put up $500 and use the promo code Chael200, you are going to have $1,500 on the books over there. That is stupid money. Go take their money, betdsi.com. Now, special treat, Jack Swagger, WWE superstar. But before he got there, this was an amateur wrestler, heavyweight, from Oklahoma. This is a Sooner. 4th in the country, All-American. This is a guy, I supported his wrestling career from day one, but I didn't want him to go into wrestling. This is a guy that I thought was going to go into MMA. He had the look, he had the build, and he had the skills, but he took the wrestling route, captured the highest crown you can get, which is the World Championship, the same title that Stone Cold had, the same title that The Rock had, the same title that Hulk Hogan had, Jack Swagger had. Jack, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, thanks for having me. That was one hell of an introduction.
Hey, I'm just calling it straight. You know, it's always cool, and I feel like I've known you your whole career since college because I followed it. You know, the wrestling community is so small. Even if you don't meet a guy and hang out with a guy, we all know each other. And, you know, when I watched you go into big-time wrestling, particularly with your look, I mean, you know, you've got the size, you've got the whole bit there. You came out with a great gimmick, and, man, they drove you straight to the top, to the championship. Let's get into wrestling a little bit. I want to stay on MMA just for a second. Did you ever consider an MMA career? I mean, you're young enough right now. Are you considering MMA? Did you consider an MMA career?
Coming out of college, the whole MMA scene was still relatively new. It was practically blowing up my like 04, 05, I think, really, for like anyone who didn't follow the sport or follow wrestling or any type of mixed martial art. Like, you didn't really know about it. And so about that time, I think like the Lehman brothers started like realizing it. And at that point, I was like, I really thought after I got done with college, I wasn't going to do any more other physical activity. I thought, I played football, I wrestled in college. I don't think my body can take anymore. And funny how it surprises you. I never really had any friends doing it. There was a couple guys in the locker room my senior year that would roll around, put on the gis, and practice jiu-jitsu. But other than that, I didn't have a whole lot of exposure to it at the time when I was in college.
Well, what about now? I mean, even looking at it now, you know, you got CM Punk coming over, you got Brock Lesnar doing a little back and forth. I mean, it's like riding a bike, man. Your skills haven't gone away. You were one of the top guys in the country at your time. It's those same guys. It's those same Cain Velasquez's and Daniel Cormier's. It's those same guys that are still around on top of the bill. I mean, do you ever fantasize about it? Do you ever watch it on TV and think, man, I could be in there doing that?
I definitely have a passion for it. I mean, once you have that level, you know, once you compete at that level or, at a high level, you have that in you. And I'd definitely be interested in pursuing it. There's so many guys, like you said, that, you know, wrestling's a small community, and now most of them are moving up to the MMA community. And it would be fun. I do have a passion for it. It'd be something down the line.
Now, I want to ask you this, talking wrestling, talking a little bit of MMA here with Jack Swagger. There was some story. I heard it one time. I can't fully remember it, but there's something about Daniel Cormier owes you a pair of wrestling shoes. Remind me of what happened there.
He owes me the 2000 edition, the year 2000 edition, John Smith Adidas wrestling shoes. It was my senior year. We were at the Oklahoma State wrestling camp. Our high school went over there for the summertime. And in between sessions, they were working out. And DC, who's my boy, was feeling good that day. You know, said very loudly to the high school kids, if anyone could take him down, they could have his shoes. And, of course, you know, all the Cowboys at that time all had the new shoes before they were out and everything. So, you know, they were a highly coveted pair of shoes. You know, it was a lot on the line here. And, you know, I was one of the tallest kids, kind of lanky, a lot of shin. But I stepped up, and we started going at it, and DC tried to lateral drop me right away. and I stopped him. I took, he went right to his back. I held him there for like a second, and then he rolled out of it, extremely pissed off, and proceeded to take me down in the next couple minutes. But that was ruled a takedown, and I never got the shoes.
Hey,
he never admitted to it.
That is. Oh, he didn't give you the takedown, or he forgot to give you the shoes.
No, he said it was a scramble position. I never had control. So, there was a little bit of a, gray area here that we need to get figured out. I still wear the same size as I did back then, so I'll take those.
All right. Hey, when you got into big time wrestling, how did you come up with the anti-American gimmick?
Great question. A good friend of mine, John Piramini, and I sat down, and we were trying to do something that was topical and against the grain, and it was more in depth than going right out against immigration. But when I brought the pitch to the table, they focused on that, and that's how it got going. And then randomly, we were in Nashville, and they brought in Dirty Dutch Mantell to be a mouthpiece for me, and he was great for it. And he came up with the "We the People." Like it's just something he said at the end of it. He was doing a promo for Vince, just kind of like a tryout. We were just in a back room with a camera, and then at the end of it, he just naturally said it, and it just slowly evolved from there. It's something very cool.
Yeah, hey, that's all you need. All you need is a look, a microphone, and a catchphrase. I mean, that seems to be the recipe. It's been around from the beginning of wrestling, and boom, you found yours.
Yeah. As long as you don't hurt anybody, you might have a career.
So, how tired do you get as a wrestler? I mean, the one I always wanted to be a professional wrestler, but the one thing, and I still look back on it, that just would have been hard for me is the road. The schedule, what those guys go through, and they got to make towns, and they got to have high energy, and they're, every week they're in 3 different time zones, and just getting that energy up and finding times to rest and exercise and have some kind of a social life. What's that like, man? Did you adapt to that, or is that still a grind?
Oh, man, it's very much a grind. You do adapt, but it's hard either way you cut it. The way we make it and having to do the weekly television shows, it makes the travel time very tight, and so your windows to work out before the show and before you have to drive all night, it's just something you have to work on and plan and get used to and adjust. But man, my first couple of years, I hated every stewardess I saw. It just drove me crazy. They just sat up there with all the power, and I had no legroom. I had no status at the time, just back there angrily sweating.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Now I just get numb to it.
So,
but my wife always jokes, like if I did go to MMA, I would have to be Airplane Jake Hager or Airplane Jack Swagger, because when I go in that airplane mode and someone tries to argue with me, it's not a lot of fun for them.
Touchy situation. Hey, so you said you didn't get into MMA because you didn't know a lot of guys that were doing it, but I got to think you didn't know a lot of guys that were pro wrestling either. How did you get your break? I mean, who called you? Who'd you reach out to? How did that begin? Did you start with Jerry Briscoe?
Yeah, Jerry was really the man. He was doing all the college recruiting for WWE at the time, as well as being the timekeeper for all the TV shows. And he grew up in Blackwell, Oklahoma, and they're the Blackwell Maroons. And I grew up in Perry, Oklahoma. We're about 45 minutes away, and we're the Perry Maroons. And we had a long history of battles about this, but he followed me, and we kind of met through Jim Ross, who is a big football guy, and he was friends with a lot of my football players. And so we kind of met that way and started talking, and they said, this is like 3 years in at Oklahoma, and they were like, finish up, get your degree, and then you want to give it a shot, give us a call. And man, it seemed kind of silly, and I actually had forgot about it at the time, and I was trying to find jobs in the finance industry, and this was 2006. Thank God I didn't go that route, and got fed up with those and gave them a call, and it felt right. I'd been to a couple shows, very minimal. Watched a little bit growing up, Monday Night Wars and stuff, but mainly concentrated. Like my life was wrestling, football, and all summer long I did those things. So I didn't really sit around and watch shows back then. But then it was like I graduated May 2006, and by July 2006 I'd moved to Atlanta, and I was at Deep South beginning training.
Now you ended up in ECW. How did you end up over there?
They were doing like a developmental talent program. It was kind of a storyline thing where Teddy Long, the manager of ECW, was bringing up new stars from WWE's developmental program and kind of like, showcasing or whatnot. And so that was the first television program that WWE put me on. And it was very beneficial for a young guy like me, still very green. I got to work with guys like Fit Finley, who has a great amateur wrestling past and family. Guys like Matt Hardy, Christian, Edge, like guys that were able, Tommy Dreamer, that guys were able to like kind of take me under their wing, show me the ropes, and then if I didn't listen, it was my fault. But they definitely reached out and tried to help me out, and it was good. It was a good beginning. Very good start.
Now, of everything you just said, my producer Jacob slipped me a note. It says that Jack says he was a Perry Maroon. What in the hell is a maroon? I actually have that same. What kind of what is a maroon? The color?
Well, besides the worst mascot in the history of mascots, it's really a question. It's a color. It's someone marooned on an island, or I just like to say it's the perfect athlete. Like the Perry Maroons are just the perfect athletes, and that's what it is.
Stick with that, man. Stick with that answer. All right, hey, I'm trying not to talk too much wrestling because I know there's only so much you can reveal. So just tell me this one thing before you go: are we going to see you at WrestleMania?
WrestleMania? Yeah, absolutely. You never know what they got planned. It could be a pop-up surprise. Me and Ronda Rousey come down to the ring or something.
I love it. I was at WrestleMania out in California. Where was it? Was it in Sacramento? Somewhere?
San
Fran. I walk in, and it was early on, and you were in a battle royal. I remember the Big Show was in there, and you were in there, and 14 or 15 other guys thought, well, that's a hell of a way to start a show. I mean, that's a main event right there. But at WrestleMania, that can open the card. WrestleMania is crazy, man.
Man, whether you're a wrestling fan or a pro wrestling fan and you don't really care for the pro sport, like WrestleMania is a spectacle that everyone needs to see. It's just so much fun. And I walked out there at San Francisco and I was speechless. Like just all those people all in one place. It's cool because wrestling as a sport is getting more popular ever. The whole crap with the Olympics trying to take it out. That gave us momentum, and I think as a sport and as a community really used it to take advantage of the situation, make some stars out of it, and get more information out or more coverage of the great sport that it is. And that goes for any type of thing with wrestling right now. It just seems like it's doing great, and it's amazing.
Hey, give me an update real fast just to satisfy my wrestling curiosity. So your coach, Jack Spates, retired. Cody came in. He's been replaced with Lou Roselli. Just tell me this. Where is Jack Spates now?
Jack Spates is still in Norman. He actually does some announcing for the home duels. And I think he does some radio announcing, the duels and other the certain events that they go to. But he's still in Norman. All
right, cool. All right, Jack. Hey, man, thank you for your time. I can't wait for WrestleMania and to see your level of participation. Do you have anything else you want to get off your chest?
Yeah, if I see you at WrestleMania this year, will you not brush me off and will you shake my hand? You walked right by me in San Francisco there, wouldn't even talk to me,
Well, I was pretty big time at the, you know how that is. I was putting myself over. No, Jack, I look forward to seeing you, man. I'm a huge fan. Keep up the good work.
All right, Chael. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you, Jack. Hey, that's a stud right there, Joel. Did you follow his career? I know you followed his big time career, but did you even know he was an All-American for the Sooners?
No, I went backwards on that. He came out and had the wrestling gimmick right off the bat,
right out of the gate.
And I went back and I looked him up, immediately, and I was like, wow, this young man's going to make it. I mean, he had everything to look the.
Well, he was champion of the world, I think, at like 26 years old. I mean, very young. He burst right on the scene, just like Lesnar did. I mean, right on the scene. He was the champion. He was the driving force and the face of the company. And then you know how that goes. You got to hold your spot, and there's a lot of politics and hard work there. But yeah, I mean, he burst out. And then he said something that was interesting. He was talking about football, and that he got his connection through Jerry Briscoe, but that he got introduced to Jerry Briscoe from Jim Ross. I wonder if he played football and wrestled in college. I thought he was a one-sport athlete, particularly to the fact that he almost won a national championship. You usually can't do two sports and do that. But based on what I just gathered from he might have been a two-sport athlete, that crazy bast.
Wish you would have that question about 27 seconds ago.
Yeah, should have asked him.
So let's stay on the WWE.
We'll never know. We'll never know. There's no way to find out.
There's no way to find out.
Nobody will ever know.
So our guy, Brew Chance, he's a big WWE guy. So I'm assuming he was at Raw yesterday because he says in his notes, after Monday night's episode of Monday Night Raw, The Rock came out and called CM Punk from the middle of the ring and left him a voicemail with the crowd chanting his name. Could this be a sign that Vince would like Punk back in the WWE, or simply a ruse move by The Rock to one of his buddies?
I'm going to go with two, and I have absolutely no information, but before you even posed that question, that's the first thing I thought, is The Rock went off script and put his boy over. And if that's the case, thank you, Rock. That's a cool move. That's a really cool thing to do.
I'm going to go with number one, and the reason that is I told you about 4 to 5 weeks ago, they were in Chicago, and the crowd was chanting CM Punk's name. So the one thing we know about the WWE, they're about business. They're not about friends. So I believe that's true. I believe we're going to see CM Punk back in the WWE.
You think so? Is that right? I would like to see that. I never understood why they left. And to your point, if there's one thing Vince will do, it's make up. I mean, he's not afraid to make up. But I don't think that. I don't think we're going to see him back. But we'll see. I mean, let's see. I have no knowledge.
WWE.
Either way. Cool that The Rock did that.
I think he'll be back. WWE News. Diamond Dallas Page has been announced as a 2017 Hall of Fame inductee alongside Kurt Angle. What do you think of that? Couldn't it happen to a nicer guy?
Yeah, I had that information. I don't know if that was secret information. DDP had told me that, but I thought I didn't know I had insider scoop there. Even if I did, yeah, I like that a lot. I like the folks that they've been inducted in the Hall of Fame. I think that it's right, and the Hall of Fame is a show. Don't forget that they make a whole show of that. So you need some personalities, and there's been some guys that have screwed up the show. I don't know if you saw Mr. T get inducted, but boy, the guys in the back are thinking, come on, man, we should not. He talked for like 45 minutes. He rambled on and on. He was in wrestling one time. It was WrestleMania 3. He had done a movie with Hulk Hogan, so they parlayed him over. He took more time. Kane had to come from the back. Hey, did you see this? Do you even know what I'm talking about? Mr. T is up there. Talked for 44 or 45 minutes. That's the literal number. It's one of those 44 or 45 minutes. It was terrible. It was mind-stakingly painful, numbing.
Words are hard.
Yeah, boy, phrases are hard. And there was just nothing there. There was nothing to see. And frankly, he didn't belong. It's like, hey, T, man, you came out one time. The boys that are inducted here did the heavy lifting. You're really out of place here. Just take the honorary moment and move on. And he couldn't do it. And Kane had to walk on stage in front of everybody, put his arm on T, and tell him that's it.
Diamond Dallas Page had one of the greatest finishing moves, which was the Diamond Cutter. And this was before, like now, God, a guy has to hit 4 or 5 finishers to end the match. Back when DDP was throwing the Diamond Cutter on people with the big bang, that was the finisher.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite moves of all time.
Yeah, I agree. I told the story of the Montreal screw job on a podcast. I made it an entire show. And all these years, the real story has finally come out. I've done my own investigations. I've been curious. And I got the scoop. I told everybody, I said, I don't know where this happened. I think the match was in Toronto. And I moved through. And this guy comes out and roasts me on Twitter. And he goes, Chael, The Montreal Screwjob, you think happened in Toronto. And I was just like, yeah, I'm an idiot for saying, and I really did. I thought it happened in Toronto. It's called the Montreal Screwjob. I thought it happened in Toronto.
Cities are hard.
Cities are tough, man. There's a lot of cities out there.
Now let's backtrack a little bit from professional wrestling to amateur wrestling.
Do it.
On the way back from San Jose, we got a chance to watch Penn State versus Oklahoma State, and boy, it went from great for Oklahoma State. They come out and they jump 13-0, and I think they didn't win another match. 13-0, and Penn State comes back, and 6 of those points was a default in the first match. Boy, Johnny Smith got to be a little bit shook up.
Yeah, I think at 97 that match could have gone either way, and at heavyweight, the right guys weren't out there. Maybe that match is arguable too. I didn't think any other match was even a conversation. I thought Penn State was the number one team in the country from the jump. Oklahoma State was ranked number one. I have no idea how they did that. They also gave no consideration to Suriano. Any of us that are wrestling fans are looking at going, hey, this guy's a potential champion. Don't have him ranked high enough. I think he was in the top 20, but I mean, it was terrible ranking. You're not giving consideration to that. I can remember a year ago, they had Bo Nickel at number 20. Well, really, Bo Nickel, you think is number 20?
Yeah,
really?
You were way ahead of the curve on that. You had Bo Nickel. You had Bo way ahead.
A high school kid who went 3-2 with Gabe Dean. You think he's number 20? It's like you guys are asleep at the wheel here. And I'm an Oklahoma State fan. That's who I'm going to cheer for. But come on, man. I'm a wrestling fan. We all knew Penn State was number one.
I believe if you had one pick for the greatest wrestler in NCAA right now, you'd say it was Zane Rutherford. I think Collica can beat him in the finals.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
And you're right. If I had one pick, I would say it's Zane Rutherford. And, Collica can give him problems. I felt like Collica was out there keeping the match close as opposed to trying to win the match. And that could be a little rough on him. Collica won the junior nationals. Collica won the university nationals. So, I mean, this is a guy that can, I think he won the juniors twice, but he won the universities as well. So to win the NCAA is definitely within grasp of this guy. I just think Rutherford wins it, and I'm not sure Collica's in the finals. Collica could be in the finals, but I'm not sure. He's one of those guys. He has a lot of close matches. Everything has to go right, and most of the time it does. But I think as far as consistency goes, boy, you're not going to touch Zane.
Staying on NCAA wrestling, you talked about Virginia Tech and Iowa not wrestling together. We wanted to get Kevin Dresser on the show. He just, not only did he take the job at Iowa State, he's out. He's out. He's on his way to Iowa State right now. He's the next wrestling coach at Iowa State. The highest paid coach in NCAA wrestling is Kevin Dresser. And that is going to be, he's going to take Iowa State from where they are right now, which is not a good place, to back where they belong, which is one of the top programs in the country, and it's not going to take them too long.
Now, I have to tell you this. He is not the highest paid. He is the second highest paid. Chael Sanderson is number one. Chael Sanderson is $500,000 a year. Dresser is going in at $300,000. Not only does that make Dresser the second highest paid coach in the NCAA, it makes him the second highest paid wrestling coach in the world. He and Chael Sanderson both make more than the Russian national coach that wins the Olympic Games every 4 years. So, yeah, really big deal. Now, you did say something I got to ask you about, and tell me if you're right here, if you're guessing. He's in Iowa. He's in Ames right now?
I don't know if he's in Ames right now, but
he's got to finish out at Virginia Tech the year.
He stepped down. He stepped down 100%. His assistant is the head coach now. He is out.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Or according to my notes.
Yeah, wow. Well, if he did that to his team, I mean, they got the conference and the nationals next week. I don't like that if he did that, and I wouldn't think that he would. Now, the administration may have stepped in and said, well, if you're going to go, you're going today. They might have got big and tough on him, but I don't. That would surprise me if that fact is true. I would believe Dresser's going to finish it out. He's only 2 weeks away. He's more like 3 weeks away, but you get the point. And then he gets on a plane and goes to Ames. Because if you're saying he's in Ames and you're also proposing that Jackson has stepped down and he doesn't get to finish out his season with his team, that wouldn't be right either. Not for the guys. So I don't know what's right there or not. I'm just saying that historically, traditionally speaking, that is not how it's done.
Well, it won't be the first time I've ever been wrong if I am.
Yeah, all right. Well, that truer words never spoken. All right, Joel, before we go, I do want to ask you this. So you got your fight coming with Wes Sims. You're working hard. It was supposed to be in the summertime. Now it's moved to May 13th, so you've got less time. You're using the Ultimate Weight Cut. Okay, I told you about it. I told all the fans about it. If anybody's interested, go to ultimateweightcut.com. But it's very comprehensive, step-by-step guide to cutting weight, sample menu, diet plans. This is used by elite athletes. There's a rehydration plan. You can calculate target weight zones. Go to ultimateweightcut.com. How's things going, Joel?
Well, I mean, diet-wise, good. I'm down 8 pounds, so I'm down to 262. A lot of people want to hear about old team cut.
You're down 8 pounds in 14 days?
Yeah.
You should say it. That's actually really good.
Well, we got a long way to go. So I'm down 8 pounds, and a lot of fans want to hear old Team Quest stories, and I'm going to give them one. Team Quest used to have what's called open roll on Sundays. And open roll on Sundays would be you would come in and you would roll around and do a bunch of submissions. But this particular Sunday, Randy had a fight going on, so he wanted to get some rounds. So it was going to be a stand-up day. Now, I was at the time competitive. Does that mean I was a good fighter? No, I was competitive to compete in the practice room. And we go the first round, and, you know, he near the end of the first round, he drubs me up pretty good. Second round, I go with somebody else. Now, I should be done with Randy. Once you go once, you should be done. He brings me in the third round, kicks the living crap out of me. Fourth round, I go with somebody else. Fifth round, he does the same thing. He beats me to death. We sit down, you know, on the wall afterwards, and I'm like, hey, Randy, what was that all about? And he said, you caught me with a jab in the first round. And I took it. I took that beating. I've kept it with me forever that I got a good jab in. It made him so mad he beat me up for, 15 minutes. So my question to you is, why'd you punch me in the face so many times last night?
Okay, here is one thing about you. And you are the guy that I would speculate in drilling, wrestling terms, people probably didn't want to drill with because you're very rough and you're a big guy that doesn't know his own strength. And you hit hard and you grab hard and you push and pull hard. And I don't think you know that you do it. So I was very disciplined that I'm only going to hit you as hard as you hit me. And I'm only going to hit you as many times if you hit me. If you hit me once, I'm going to hit you once. If you hit me at 50%, I'm going to hit you at 50%. That was the thing that I don't think you're taking into consideration.
I was throwing punches at your glove.
Yeah, but you were throwing them hard. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And I will acknowledge you were throwing them at my glove, but it's like, Joe, I could move my head at any point into that spot. And you are just a big, strong guy that doesn't know he's a big, strong guy. And even when we're warming up, and I know you thought you were going at a slow pace, but those were thuds that were hitting me. So it's like, well, I have to touch him back.
Do you know what happens when you hit me in the face?
Hurts your feelings.
Hurts my feelings.
You don't have feelings. You don't have any feelings.
I got feelings, brother, but not about getting punched in the face.
All right. So the Ultimate Weight Cut Guide is helping you?
It's going good so far. The giant at the end of the rainbow is helping too, knowing he's going to be there in 82 days. That gets me up. Like this morning, Reese beat me up on the trips. It's like, dude, you're 50. Can you act like you're 50? And as hard as that was to swallow, I'm like, yeah, well, today was the first time in my life that I literally went to the gym and my workout was to ice my body and soak in a tub. So thank you, Reese.
Boom. UltimateWeightCut.com. Until tomorrow, I'm Chael Sonnen, and you are welcome.
Baby.
Thanks for listening to You're Welcome with Chael Sonnen. Download new episodes every week at podcastone.com. That's podcastone.com.
I'm Mick Garris. When it comes to horror, you might know me as a writer, producer, and director. But I also love making people open up. I'm getting together with the most fascinating people in fright filmmaking. I'm going to pick their brains and find out what they know. But if they've got any secrets they're determined to keep, I have ways of making them talk.
Download new episodes of Postmortem with Mick Garris every other Wednesday at podcastone.com, the Podcast One app, or you can subscribe on iTunes. Stay tuned for the latest AP News headlines from Podcast One, right after this.
AP Update, I'm Rita Foley. Millions of immigrants living illegally in the United States may be targets for deportation under a sweeping revision of enforcement policies. This includes those here illegally who are arrested for traffic violations. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer.
The last administration had so many carve-outs for who could be and who couldn't be adjudicated that it made it very difficult for the customs and enforcement people to do their job and enforce the laws of this country.
Meanwhile, Republican lawmakers who are home from Congress on a break are facing some pretty angry constituents at town hall meetings. But top Senate Republican Mitch McConnell says showing up to protest President Trump's policies won't do any good.
In this country, when you win the election, you get to make the policy. I always remind people, winners make policy and losers go home.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell at a Chamber of Commerce luncheon in his home state of Kentucky. AP Update, I'm Rita Foley.